Hey, what is going on, everybody? Welcome to Upkick MMA. Episode 482. I am Brendan, UFC 315, Muhammad versus Delamedelena. Delamedelena, that's fun to say. This is going to be the prelims, though. So this is going to be Mike Malott versus Charles Radtke. The rest of the prelims, we're going to break all these fights down round by round, go through all of them, talk about some bullshit decisions. If you like this kind of thing, subscribe to the channel. That way you know the next video is coming out, and I'd appreciate it. All right. Mike Malott taking on Charles Radtke. I don't know if there was a kerfuffle or some hullabaloo, some other generic 50s phrases for, I don't know, some shit talking or whatever going back and forth between these two. But anyway, Malott circling the outside, jabbing and using the push kick to keep range. Radtke starting to find his range with the pressure halfway through the round, but then Malott making that adjustment, right? Making really good adjustments, keeping that volume high, extending the combinations, making Radtke shell up and act in result to what Malott wants to put out there. Malott, not allowing Radtke to really land combos, keeping him as a one-punch person, keeping on the move, and then, Radtke landing harder shots this round, but really having a hard time putting them together and staying in range. Malott taking this one easily 10-9, 27-10 for striking numbers in favor of Malott. In second round, huge right hand. Malott puts him down, follow-up gets the finish. That's the end of it. If you didn't watch the prelims because you're like, I normally skip the prelims were more brisk and probably better to watch than for a casual fan than the main card. Main card as a whole. Not the main event, main card. Good win for Mike Malott. Just got Andrade versus Jasmine Jasudavicius. Boy, Andrade is just being thrown out there. And, she's still scary as shit, but man, I can't remember. Oh, she beat Marina Rodriguez. A split decision, but she beat Marina Rodriguez and she beat Mackenzie Dern. Well, that's back in 2023. That's 2 damn years ago. So it's like, how can you tell her that she can't keep fighting? Anyway, low kicks from both women. Andrade keeping the center early on. Jasudavicius landing that right hand, forcing Andrade to back up. Then they're back to trading, right? They go back to trading for a little bit, and then holy shit, Jasudavicius gets in on the hips, lifts her up, slams her, then gets to her back, and then Jasudavicius gets the short choke from her back, kind of like a rear naked choke, but different grip. Anyway, beautiful finish for her, dominant performance from Jasudavicius. Her being, I already talked about this on the main card, but she was ranked. Where was she? I'm in the wrong division. There she is, 9. She was ranked 9. Andrade was 7. There's a likelihood that Jasudavicius moves into the top 6, possibly the top 5, with Natalia Silva getting the win and Alexa Grasso getting the loss and her bouncing her out of the top 5. That's unlikely. But Jasudavicius just put herself in title shot contention, right? This is the kind of thing that happens where if schedules happen to line up and negotiations go through and whatever, she could get a title shot next. Do I think that's going to happen? No, I think she's one more fight away from a title. I think she needs one more fight and then she could get the title shot. Great win for her, though. All right, let's talk about some bullshit. Modestas Bukauskas versus Yeong Cutelaba. Somehow Bukauskas got the win here. Saul D'Amato's the only one who scored it like a normal human being, right? I still think he scored it wrong, but he's the only one who has a defensible scorecard here. Jaron Valal is also a referee, and he's an absolute dingaling. Pasquale Procopio, based off of this, doesn't know what the fuck he's looking at. Oh, sorry, guys. Doesn't know what he's looking at. We'll talk about the scorecard, and let's talk about the actual fight first before we go off and talk about how bad the decision was. Both guys kicking the legs, Cutelaba landing the better ones. Bukauskas landing that right hand, but Cutelaba eating it, fighting back, landing his own. Another fight where one guy is just more active and it's keeping him ahead with Cutelaba doing that. Bukauskas landing that clean 1-2. Another one is just not enough. He needs to land more. Cutelaba wins this round on volume, in my opinion, 10-9. 17-12 wasn't excessively close. It wasn't a blowout, but nothing but Bukauskas didn't land so much damage that with those shots that you think like, oh, he's going to win this. But okay, is that round closer than the second round? Absolutely. Second round, But I still had 10-9 Cutelaba. Second round, Cutelaba going kind of crazy in every exchange, still finding success, but reserved in between, right? Like, he'll go crazy, he'll burst, but then he's reserved, he's waiting, he's patient. And then fucking Dan Morigliata separated them in this round after being on the cage, whatever. I don't know why. That guy gets too fucking bored. He really does. I don't know what he's got going on in his life that he can't watch these two figure it out and let them fight, but he is so quick to separate people. Bukauskas just not landing enough. If he lands, even if he's landing the cleaner strikes, 25-16, right? And like I said, Bukauskas is landing the cleaner strikes, and he did outland him to the head, 15-11. So if that's all you're looking at, then maybe. But he's not landing so much damage that he's way out in front. It's a 4-strike differential to the head. Cutelaba did just fine in this round, outlanding him. I had him 20-18. Last round, Dan separates him again in the clinch, which is ridiculous. Bukauskas is landing those clean right hands and stunning Cutelaba, but he's just not following up in this round, and Bukauskas might have done enough in this round. So looking at the striking numbers here, dead even, 16-16. But Bukauskas, this is the round you're looking for right here. 15-3 for head strikes, much more damage in this round. I clearly gave this last round to Bukauskas. I said might have done enough, but what I meant was he might have done enough in this round, but it might have done enough to win this last round, but not enough to win the fight. That's when I said might have done enough, right? I wasn't saying like he might have done enough to win this round, like I was unsure. It clearly was his round. Anyway, let's look at the scorecards, because this is bad. Okay, Saul D'Amato. Saul D'Amato has the only defensible scorecard, and even his is not defensible for that second round, in my opinion. Well, no. I think that second round is still wrong. Okay, I'll give it to him. That is the only defensible scorecard, because that second round, right? That second round could have gone to Bukauskas if you only are looking at the head. I think it's wrong. I think he's wrong, right? He was the difference maker in this, and Saul D'Amato threw a stinker out here. Don't appreciate it. That second round should have went to Cutelaba. Now let's talk about the other two fucking morons, because these are more egregious. Even though one of them got the decision, like agreed with my decision, but that doesn't make it any better. Jaron Villal. Let's talk about the better of the two bad scorecards here, shall we? Jaron Villal. First round of Cutelaba, understandable. Second round of Cutelaba, absolutely. Third round of Cutelaba, what the fuck were you watching? What were you watching? What were you watching? That last round was not particularly close. It was not. The damage was pretty much all one way. Bukauskas hurt him at multiple points, and you're going to tell me that you thought that Cutelaba won that last round? You weren't fucking paying attention. Okay, now to Pasquale Procopio here. Again, that second round, through the logic that I went through to give Saul D'Amato credit, I will say possibly. And that last round to Bukauskas. Again, I disagree with that second round, which is why I think his is the worst scorecard here. That last round, absolutely, Bukauskas definitely won that one. First round, nope, absolutely fucking not. You tell me how you thought that Bukauskas getting outstruck, outdamaged, out-controlled in this round as far as like who was controlling the center of the octagon, because like even if you happen to think that the Bukauskas strikes made up the differential, this guy has probably never been kicked in the body or kicked in the legs. This guy's a fucking moron, and it's unacceptable. Maybe he had a bad decision and he'll turn out to be a good judge, but it is unlikely given that is bad. That is bad. If I see that, when we see that name, you can't be confident in anything. That's a horrible decision. Cutelaba got robbed for that, and Bukauskas didn't fight a bad fight. He just clearly lost it. Bad, horrible. Ivan Erslan versus Navajo Stirling. This fight had moments. This fight was fun in bursts. Stirling landing a lot of kicks early to the body and the legs, using it at range. Erslan landing that right hand as a counter, pretty much sticking to boxing. I don't know if he landed anything to the legs. He landed one leg kick. And Erslan, in all three rounds, right? One leg kick, and then these shots to the body were from the hands. I don't know if he threw a kick. Yeah, I don't know if he even threw a kick. Other than that leg kick, sorry. Weird. Anyway. Erslan is still landing those kicks Stirling. I wrote that wrong. Stirling is still landing those kicks to the arms and legs, and Erslan not landing the right hand much anymore in the middle of this round. So this first round is going pretty much one direction towards Stirling. Really hard to score this round because the volume goes to Stirling. Even though he didn't land upstairs very much, Erslan is the opposite. Clean striking, and I landed towards Stirling. Now, the striking differential was not close, 31-12. It's just those 18 leg strikes, they weren't really hard leg strikes. They were more slapping. A lot of them were slapping. Body shots were decent. It was just a lot of volume, right? It's the same thing as someone were to throw, 30 jabs and land 30 jabs in a round versus another person landing 10 really big shots, or like 10 really solid right hands, right? Which one do you lean towards? I lean towards Stirling. I felt like the damage that he did, and Erslan didn't rock him, right? Had Erslan rocked him or done something so drastic like that, maybe I could have given him this round, but clearly Stirling's round in my opinion. 10-9. Second round, Erslan strikes his way into the hips, gets to the body lock, and keeping his back to the fence. Stirling able to use the grappling exchanges to get his own takedown, get to the back. Erslan able to reverse positions, get up in the clinch and the knees, land knees into the legs. At range, the kick volume from Stirling is still keeping him ahead for striking numbers, but this round it wasn't as drastic. It was only 19-11. The difference is, Erslan didn't land a ton as much upstairs either. Close round, the separator is the grappling for Stirling. So even if I had the damage pretty damn close, but Stirling controlled the grappling exchanges more often, so I gave him this round. So I had it 20-18. Last round, Erslan's going to the body more. He should have started. He started the second round. Sorry, he started to find the body later in that second round. I just don't know if it's enough doing that later on here. Usually body shots start to pay dividends as the fight goes on, but you've only got 5 minutes left to work, so now you're looking to end the fight with the body or use that body shot to come back up top, bring the guard down or something like that. He was not doing that. Stirling landing a hard right hand. Erslan forced to shoot on the legs. Erslan raising his hands and wants to just throw. Stirling landing to the back of the head, drops him, and it was all in motion. It wasn't egregious. He's still with it somehow. Erslan makes it to the buzzer, but that's definitely 30-27. Looking at the scorecards here. Wow, there's a world where Erslan could have won this fight. Holy shit. Nobody gave all 3 rounds to Stirling. See what I'm saying? See, Mike Bell gave that first round to Erslan. That's what I was talking about. Stirling landed a bunch of feeler kicks, and Erslan was landing significant damage. So I understand the logic. I disagree with it, but I understand it. Guy Gerard also did that. And then here, Eric Colon gave that second round to Erslan for that same reason, would be my guess. Yeah, this one wasn't. Those aren't egregious scorecards. Those aren't so bad. We don't need to bitch about that. Oh, Bruno Silva missed weight, huh? There's a lot of just laissez-faire attitude towards this. Marc-Andre Barriault versus Bruno Silva. Bruno Silva missing weight by a pound. I mean, in the end, it didn't matter. Weight misses have kind of hurt everybody this year. To this point, we are at 11 weight misses, and only 2 people have won. So they're losing 82% of the time. It's not good to miss weight. At least they're being punished in the end for missing weight here. Barriault gets the clinch, landing some uppercuts as Silva looks to land with that big left hand. Silva catches a kick and looking to get on top of Barriault, wrestles up, presses him to the cage, and while he's got him in the clinch, lands some nasty elbows to the side of the head, drops him down, lands some shots, and gets the finish. Beautiful finish by Barriault. The power bar getting it done. Beautiful finish, making it easy to watch the rest of the night. Like, I love when you get finishes in between decisions. Like, all finishes is obviously great. But if you have some longer fights with decisions and then you get, bursts of quick finishes in between, it keeps everything moving at a pace that you can kind of accept. Jeong Lee versus Daniel Santos. Why is this not loading? It's trying to load. Give it a second. Santos landing some low kicks hard to start. Lee firing back with the same thing, trying to get his boxing going. Lee is staying tight when Santos enters and counters really well. Santos drops him with the right hand, and Santos going for the takedown, get into the back body lock. Santos landing hard low kicks and landing with the right hand. Lee still landing well with the body shots, digging with that lead hook, and Lee just looking cleaner, landing better as the combos extend. And then Lee's countering the pressure and landing better as this round comes to a close. I thought he won this round. He outstruck him 35-33. I thought he did more damage, even though he got dropped, which it could have been a slip or off balance, but whatever. But I felt that he landed more damage. 10-9. Second round. Both guys countering with the kicks up top. Santos swinging more wild, but landing. But he is also landing. Lee going hard to the body. Santos, what? Oh, he ducks under a strike and gets to the takedown. Right, they get right back up with almost no damage there. Santos is throwing more out there now. Lee is shelling up, looking to land big shots. Gets taken down, and this is where we kind of saw. All right, Santos is just going to look to control, stay on the outside, poke and prod, and then try to get the takedowns. Clearly made this round tough for Lee. 19-19 going to the third round. 39-20 for striking numbers in favor of Santos. Last round here, Santos getting the takedown, getting to the back. No damage for 2 minutes, but got the control time. And again, if you look at how Lee was able to hold center a bit more this round, but the second he starts to open up, he gets taken down or like pushed to the side, and he just gets stuck on the fence. Santos running away with the last 20 seconds of the fight, like literally running away with 10 seconds left, knowing that he's got it won. I had it 29-28 in favor of Santos. I think that's what everybody gave it. No. Everybody gave all 3 rounds to Santos. Okay. Yeah, Lee had no chance. Didn't matter what he did in that last round, apparently. Okie dokes. We don't need to go over that anymore. I've already talked about judging enough. Bekzat Almakhan versus Brad Katona. I did not see this going the distance. It did not. I was not surprised by this at all. Brad Katona, ever since he came back to the UFC, he's been kind of like a whatever fighter. Almakhan jabbing to the body, both guys staying light on the feet, trying to dart in and out, right? But Almakhan's getting the better of those entries, finding the mark with the jab, and then landing this beautiful uppercut. And then he's just getting he's doing a better job at measuring and timing and catching Katona. And then a huge uppercut, and Katona's down, and that's it. Looking at Katona's record since he's been back in the UFC, since he fought in the Ultimate Fighter again, he's the only 2-time winner of the Ultimate Fighter, right? What is this belt here for? Anyway. He's got that win. He got that win against Cody Gibson. That was for the Ultimate Fighter finish, even though it was close, but he clearly did win that one. Loses to Garrett Armfield. That was not particularly close. Gets a win over Jesse Butler. Was this a split decision? Why do I not remember this one? John Matsumoto. Oh, it's because Matsumoto landed better strikes in the first 2 rounds. That's really what it came down to, I bet. Okay. Anyway. Katona's not a bad fighter. He's a game fighter, and he's a good challenge for people. I think in this division, he can, like in the bantamweight division, like who do you think he competes with? You know what I'm saying? Like you think he's taken on literally anybody in the top 15? Probably not, huh? Probably not. So where do you think that he fits in here? It's just going to be a guy who can maybe string some wins together and then fight and maybe possibly pop into the top 15 at some point. But as I'm watching it, it just looks like a guy with a lot of skills who's just not going to be able to go over the top. Right? Again, top 15, I could see that. Top 10, some weird circumstances in bantamweight, I could see that. Top 5, title challenger, no way. Not that everybody has to be, but I think that he makes more sense keeping him in the division and allowing him to kind of, gatekeep, not for the top 15 necessarily, but gatekeep for, hey, who belongs in the UFC? If you can beat Brad Katona, you probably belong here. If you can't beat Brad Katona, you don't belong here. And it's not like, I don't think he's the worst fighter in the division necessarily. It's just one of those guys where he's a game fighter, good skills, great game plan, just needs to, if he goes out there and does what he's supposed to do on most nights, he beats most people in the world. But if you took him out of here, would you think he'd be like a PFL champion or maybe a one FG champ? No, not necessarily. I think he could win. I think he'd be more competitive in general over there. But no, that's what I mean, right? He's one of those guys who is good enough to challenge a lot of people in the division, but not good enough to really put things together and win. Why am I spending so much time on this? Nobody cares. You guys don't care. I just got off on a train of thought because I was thinking about it. Anyway, I appreciate y'all for stopping by. It means a lot to me. Thank you guys. Subscribe to the channel if you like this kind of thing. That way you know next video is coming out. Let me know what you guys thought about the pay-per-view. Did you buy it? Would you buy it again is the better question. I hope you guys have an amazing week. Love y'all. Peace.